Good. Hello, everyone. I was about to say good evening, but I know there's a number of individuals who are not there just yet. Welcome along then to round 2 of ISRL's Division 3. From Austria to Spain we go. And after a very dramatic opening race last week, what will happen in store this time around? Well, as you can see, the rain has come down. We didn't see that in Austria. Here in qualifying, looks like it'll be a wet qualifying session. Drivers will of course be on the intermediate tyres as they prepare to come out. You can see there Victor looks like it'll be the first to come out, although an Alpine I think has just made their way out. Not sure which one that is. That is Vexter, who has made their way onto the track then. But it was a very dramatic Austrian Grand Prix to say the least. A number of safety cars crashes. But in the end, it was Synchro who took the victory. And as such, the championship lead. As the Alpine goes off the track there, almost onto the grass. Speaking of Alpine, of course, they lead the Constructors' Championship for Team Division 3. So starting as they left off last season, to be honest, but we go on a very different track this time around. Austria, as you saw, had a lot of passes, had a lot of opportunities for overtakes. This track might be a bit difficult despite having 2 DRS zones. This is one of them, down into turn 10. But there isn't a lot of opportunities here for overtaking because cars find it very difficult to follow one another. Especially in this final sector, even more difficult. With this wet qualifying, I wonder if any setup changes have indeed been made. We have a dry race coming then. Vexter then, making their way down the pit straight to begin their first flying lap. Of course, it is an 18-minute qualifying session for pole. It's not the traditional Q1, Q2, Q3. If you've not joined us recently, you've missed out, that's for sure. Next to then powering their way through turns 3, the long right-hander. Dry conditions, you can take that flat out in qualifying, but in these conditions, not so much. Extra again going a little wide as they did on the outlap, but this time doesn't make it onto the grass. You can see they're really struggling to get the car fully turned in. Missed the apex there on the exit of turn 5. And has gone wide. That's going to be a danger point for a number of drivers. That turn 8 corner can easily invalidate your lap there. As we go on board with Rusty Oil Can. For Alfa Romeo. As they power their way down. More cars starting to appear on track as well. So I wanted to get their laps in early. Oil Can then powering their way into the final sector. Very cautiously there. Just see, in these conditions you don't want to be over aggressive, because in these conditions you'll be punished a little bit heavier than you would in the dry conditions. Oil Can then, you can see Victor, fastest lap time at the moment with 1:28.1. Oil Can a long way back then, almost 2 seconds back, so good lap then by Victor. Melios has invalidated in the Williams. Meanwhile, their teammate of Wild Dog, out to get their first lap on the board, goes quicker with a 1:27.7, so good lap there from Williams. Riordan is about to catch up to a number of cars in traffic there. There's the Aston Martin, which does need to get out of the way, and that will likely have held up Riordan. I think that's the Aston Martin of Westy. It can be Westy. It's the only one Aston Martin on track at the moment. And Riordan pops it into 3rd place, whilst the teammate behind them down in 4th, Greenwell Army there. Here's Fallen Monkeys for McLaren. Should also mention we haven't seen the championship leader out yet. That Marco. They're both in the pits for the time being. A really good strategic battle between those two in Austria. So we'll see if something will happen here again. The track will be a little bit more awkward for the drivers as well. Fallen Monkey's going very wide. Not sure if they're on a hot lap or not. Either way, as there's a car powering down the back there, that should be Westy. Yes, it is. Red Bull right behind them. As there, meanwhile, is Stanek in the Sister Alfa Romeo has gone quickest now, or 1:27.1, so times are starting to come down very quickly at the moment. So Westy through the final two corners as the Red Bull enters into the pits. Westy then their first lap time as 7th place. Emilio Stent for a second time. Doesn't invalidate on this occasion. Goes a little wide. Gets away with it. And a 1:26.9. So times are really starting to come down. 2 tips quicker than Stanek. No one seems to be on back-to-back laps at the moment. This is Jav SRN. But not improving on their current lap time. Hartmann is going slightly quicker in the first sector. Up 0.06. Doesn't sound like much, but every little bit counts. A little bit more again in the middle sector as well. Not massive gains, but they can be the difference between one position and another. Cautiously comes through the chicane there. That chicane will be devastating in the race. Of course, you need to take that absolutely perfectly. Hartmann having a very good final sector. That's put them ahead of their teammate Victor in 5th place into the 1:27s. Still, a number of cars have not made their way out. As Fallen Monkeys, meanwhile, has moved up to 11th place ahead of Greenwell Army, who hasn't improved on their lap time. Meanwhile, Hartmann not improving. As we saw, they already did a lap, so can't really do back-to-backs. Milios hasn't improved on their latest lap. Vapors found a little bit of time. Still 6 cars waiting to make their way onto the track, although I believe Mike Oxlong in the Alpine has just made their way out onto the track, so might soon be 5. Apologies, that's not Mike Oxlong. That would be Vexter then. And indeed they have. So right on the exit of the pits. And a little spin in turn 2. That could be a common denominator, and I think Jav has done exactly the same in the final chicane. Someone's gone off the track as well. That's Hartmann. And I don't know if that's Hartmann just trying to get out of the way of the cars there, but cutting across there to try and get through. Go back on board with Vapor finally. He takes provisional pole by 200ths of a second from Melio, so did want to keep an eye on that because Vapor was improving. Who else is on? Oh, that is Greenwell Army, who I think just lost the car on the curb there. The curbs are super slippery in these conditions, so you don't really want to be on them for too often. Want to keep it onto the track rather than going off it in any way. On board then with Victor, going once again on a fresh set of tyres. Again, in turn 2 you can go flat out here in these dry conditions, but you'd be very lucky if you did that in qualifying in these sort of conditions. certainly can't do it in the race no matter what the tyres are. And interestingly there, Jev has moved on to the wet tyres, so not sure about that one. Still no sign of the championship leader, or Marco either. The drivers still waiting to make their way out. And at the moment, they could be starting very much down the back of the order, which you don't really want to be doing on this track because overtaking is so difficult. Victor there struggling to catch the back end then. Rear of the car stepping out on them. How will they fare in this final chicane? Again, back end looks like one steps out on you. But Victor then, power across the line. DRS also enabled. Gains about 1/10 and a half and moves that keeps them in 6th place just behind their teammate. Here's Vexter, who's found a good bit of time actually in the middle sector, 0.4 of a second. It's gone a little wide, not the best exit through the final chicane there, but it's understandably very difficult. Vexter then lost about 0.2 there in that final sector, but moves up to 7th place as a result. Out comes Rusty Oil Can, as does Greenwell Army. They're back out once again. Here is Chaos Druid for Ferrari. Got Whitson behind them as well. Wonder why some of the drivers are waiting to the end to do their laps in, maybe thinking the track will be drier, or when the track is rubbered in. Druid has the slowest time at the moment. Whitson's got the 6th fastest time, 1:28.0. Out comes Freefall then in the other Ferrari. Didn't have the best of starts to their season in Austria, did Freefall, but looking to hopefully make amends on this occasion. Wild Dog has invalidated. Victor doesn't improve. Well, Victor does improve, goes up to 5th place. Meanwhile, Riordan has found a 6th. They found 0.6 of a second, something like that. But Riordan up to 8th place at the moment. Dexter another invalidation. Wonder where these four are. I haven't seen them just yet. Let's watch then the Alfa Romeo of Stanek. Hoping was on provisional pole earlier on, temporarily, until both Melios and Vapor dislodged them. Melios is also back on track as well. So we'll keep an eye on Melios first, but also keep an eye on Stanek in the background as well. These two could be on course for pole position, potentially. That's the gap between them. Actually, top four very close to each other. Just three tenths is what separates them. But a massive gap to the drivers behind. Melios has found half a second in the middle sector. Didn't see what Stanek's improvement was, unfortunately. So we'll keep an eye on. But Melios could be recapturing that pole position very quickly, assuming they can get this final sector all neat and tidy. That didn't look too bad from the outside shot. We'll see. Melios then crosses the line, and that is provisional pole. Can Stanek dislodge them? Yes, they can, and that's a 1:26.4 then. Just almost 800ths clear of Melios. So Melios, who enjoyed that provisional pole for about 2 seconds before Stanek took it straight back. And as I mentioned, that out comes the championship leader of Synchro. So we will keep an eye on them. Their teammate is down in 6th place, but Synchro having a very good race in Austria. I believe they started second. Their strategy call paid off in the end with a few safety cars. At one point it looked like it backfired on them, but then luck returned the favour, if you like. So let's see how Synchro fares in this second round in their first qualifying lap. They've got to make sure it counts because there's only 3 minutes to go. So any mistakes now by drivers who have come out late are going to be punished. Mike Oksong has retired, so they won't be going anywhere. They haven't got a lap on the board, so assuming the other 3 drivers get a lap in, Mike Oksong will start right from the back of the grid. Should also credit the fact we've got 20 drivers as well. We've got a full grid, which is always lovely to see. Synchro then. All neat and tidy so far. Very nicely done at the moment so far. Freefall is out. Freefall, you saw there, went up to 10th place, but then I think has had a spin. So, not the best for Freefall. Meanwhile, I think lap 14's just moved up to 15th place as well. But Stanek is currently on provisional pole by just under a 10th of a second. Vapor and Melius will try and dislodge that. We've got yellow flags all over the place at the moment. Keeping an eye on them. But Synchro then will be the next one to cross the line. And Synchro up to 4th place. Half a second back from those ahead. Here's Druid then. Doesn't improve. Got slowest of the time lapse at the moment. I think next one will be Jev in the Haas, and it won't be because they're into the pits. Next will be then Rusty Oil Can. Currently in 70th place. Someone's gone very wide, and that's one of the Williams, and that was Melios then. So Melios just getting all out of shape in the final corner. Next across the line will be Greenwell Army, who remains in 12th place. But it is starting to get closer now. But Melios, attempting pole position, isn't going to do that. Stanek won't have another opportunity. They're in the pits. Vapor is not improving on this run at the moment. So they're down about a 10th and a bit in the middle sector. So depending on what this final sector is, can Vapor... Oh, invalidates though. Now, does Vapor have enough fuel and enough energy to go for a second timed run here? We shall see. Meanwhile, Wild Dog is going once again. Checkered flag is out, so Synchro remains in 4th place. Stanek currently on course for provisional pole at the moment. Druid has invalidated, and that was a Williams that has just gone incredibly wide. That was Melios who's out, so Melios will not be getting pole position. Saw them in the background, just had a bit of a spin, and as a result of that, that will save Stanek's provisional pole for the time being, unless anybody can challenge it. Rusty Oil Can cross the line, remains in 17th place. Druid out. Not going to improve either because they're off the track. Here comes Riordan then. Good improvement at the moment, up to 3rd place. Good effort there from the Red Bull driver. Wild Dog then. As I think next they won't impede their teammate who's just also powering through, but they're going into the pits as well. I think next one actually is Vapor who's invalidated. So as it stands at the moment, as Hartman has spun and crashed on the final corner. They're all struggling in that final corner at the moment, and there is no one that can improve other than Westy in 12th place, who has lost their entire front wing, so that's not going to happen. Stanek then on pole position. Melios in 2nd, and Riordan, after a cracking final lap there, up to 3rd place for the Red Bull team. But a lot of drivers pushing a bit too hard towards the end, and in these conditions, the rain just did their best to punish them. There's the gap between the two there. almost a tenth of a second between Stanek and Milios, but Stanek for Alpha is your pole position. Milios in second. And we've got Riordan in fourth. Riordan is in third. Vapor's the one in fourth. Synchro in fifth. Wild Dog in sixth. Victor in seventh. Whitson eighth. Greenwell Army in ninth. And then Jav in 10th place. Ahead of Hartman, Westy, Fallen Monkeys, Freefall, Vexter, Luck 14, Rusty Orkan, Druid, Mike Oxlong, who I think crashed or retired, I think, in the pits. And then Marco, that's an interesting one. We didn't actually pick up on Marco, who's second in the championship. Didn't set a lap in either, and will start from the back of the grid. So after finishing second in Austria, they've got a lot of work to do if they want to repeat that performance in this race. So a lot of work for them today. We didn't really mention the Aston Martin because we didn't really see them out on track, to be honest. So thankfully for some of the drivers, maybe we've got clear skies out, so no more rain. But the benefits, though, and what makes this a bit more intriguing, because we had a wet qualifying, drivers have a free choice of tyres, and now the question is, what tyres will they all pick? We know tyre management and tyre wear here is extremely difficult, and they weren't given a lot of time to make a decision there. Not sure if someone pressed the button a bit too early. Nevertheless, away we go, so we'll see exactly what tyres they're on. And looks like the majority of them are on the medium tyres. No one's opted for the hard compound tyres, but they're all medium tyres except for the pole position sitter, or the pole sitter, that's the better terminology. Stanek, and we've got Whitson in 8th, Hartman in 11th, Fallen Monkeys in 13th, 15th, Vexter, Oilcan in 17th, and Marco. They're all on the soft tyres, so that will be interesting. You saw the tyre graphic there. Looks like it'll be a one-stop strategy anyways, although safety cars, virtual safety cars, and the natural tyre degradation on this track will make it difficult. But expect the soft runners to pit very early on. Stanek's hope then, what they'll want from the start, is obviously to lead into turn one and then just run away from the pack, because they'll have to pit earlier and Stanek might get stuck behind some of the medium runners. That could be very difficult indeed, and the medium runners will not be expected to stop until later on in this race. And with how difficult it is to overtake here, soft runners can find themselves in trouble. And Greenwell Army and Jav have already been disqualified. They've had a little running into each other, so they'll be waiting on the grid whilst the others catch up, but thankfully they won't be waiting too long, because you can see here Stanek is already into the final corner. As they make their way down to the grid. Will any of them try a two-stop strategy as well? That could be intriguing, but with only 33 laps, that would be a bold, ambitious call. There's Marco then. Marco, who finished second, was on pole last time in Austria. This time starts at the back of the grid, so completely different extremes compared to the two races. Marco led the front last time, and now Marco rounds up the rear of the grid. But all 20 cars are there. Here we go then. And we are underway for round two. Looks like a decent start from Stanek then. Milios, I think, came under pressure. There's an Alpine already onto the grass then. That would be Mike Oxog. But Riordan is already challenging Milios and might try to go round the outside. The two bang wheels there. Riordan goes round the outside and ahead of Milios. Milios is now also losing out to Sir Vapor as well. Losing out to one Red Bull Senior, now to the Red Bull Junior as well. I think there's contact at the back with one of the Aston Martins. That looks like Westy as well. But Vapor already having a look down the inside of Milios. Not a little too far back. Now under pressure from Synchro as well. But Stanek having the perfect start. A little bit wide there was one of the Mercedes, I think, of Victor. But a phenomenal start. And Stanek already leading away And already having a very nice gap out in front. Melios is challenging Riordan for that second place once again. Riordan, great start from them and went clean around the outside, a little bit of contact, but up into second place. Meanwhile, in the background, one of the two Williams of Wild Dog, I think, is under pressure from Jav in 9th place as well. But Stanek, phenomenal start, and not such a phenomenal start is Wild Dog, who's had a spin on the exit of turn 10, and that's going to lose them position. I think Riordan's had a moment as well. Riordan has lost out, and what has happened to the Red Bull, who had just made their way into second place, and now found themselves in 8th and just hit the barrier and lost their front wing as well. And I tell you what, they're very lucky not to lose their car as well. And someone who has lost the car is Chaos Druid on the final corner. We got a virtual safety car. A lot has happened there. That's a little bit of a bail for Riordan whilst the pack is slowed down. We got a safety car now as well. But Stanek having the best of starts. Not sure what happened to Riordan. I'm assuming Riordan I don't know if Riordan made contact with someone and lost a bit of their front wing, but they suddenly dropped down positions very quickly. And now finds themselves right at the back of the grid. For Chaos Druid, their race is all but over, and we got a safety car immediately. But good starts for some. Marco, who started at the back of the grid, up to 12th place already, up 8 places from where they started. But Wild Dog and Riordan didn't have the best of starts in their respective races. Melios, though, as a result of that, is back up into second place. So that's kind of worked out ideally for them. They put in 3rd as well. Synchro up to 4th place. Having a decent start on those soft tyres, which is exactly what they needed to do. AlphaTauri, both of them in the top 5 actually. Good start from Whitson. And Whitson goes into the pits. Now, is this a strategic call then to get rid of those soft compound tyres perhaps? They were on them. Stanek and Hartman have stayed out. They don't want to pit yet. Also coming into the pits is Luck 14 as well for McLaren. Now, what tyres are these going to be on? On go the medium tyres. Now, I get the feeling that's a 2-stop strategy then for Whitson, because I do not think those tyres will go to the end. On go the soft tyres for Luck 14, as well as a front wing as well. That one isn't strategic, but Luck 14 then will probably have to go into the pits again. In comes Riordan once again as well. And that will be for the hard tyres. Will that be for hard tyres? Yes, it will be. So Riordan in the space of 3 laps has gone into every single, well, I was going to say every single tyre compound possible, but they didn't start on the soft tyres. So Riordan, in theory, will they try and get to the end of those hard compound tyres? 30 laps they'd have to do. That would be a very big ask for them to do, but worth trying something. So the safety car then leads the majority of the pack through. Luck 14 and Riordan will probably have an opportunity to catch back up to the pack. See the McLaren just exiting through and up to turn 9. The pack is at turn 10, so Luck 14 will catch up to them. Riordan probably will as well, especially since the safety car is out for another lap. Team Mercedes as well, mentioned to them in 5th and 7th, as are the 2 Haas cars in 4th and 6th, so good number of cars out there as well. Keep your eye though on a number of drivers, Whitson and Riordan. Whitson, I definitely believe, is on a 2-stop strategy. Those mediums can do 30 laps, and I think Whitson's got some very good time management in place. But kind of unsurprisingly, we do have a safety car. It was 3, I think there was 3 in total in Austria. Someone can fact check me and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was at least a good number of them, and a number of unhappy drivers as well. So far, nothing of the sort just yet. I don't think there's been any major contact. I'm not sure if Wild Dogs spun on their own accord or had contact with another driver. Likewise with Riordan. We'll have to see. Riordan has caught back up to the pack as a result, so that safety car has really aided them to come back into this race, because they were already a pit stop down after some incident on the opening lap. Not 100% sure what that said incident is. So I expect probably the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. We're back under racing conditions. And as I say that, it is indeed. So maybe I'm a secret fortune teller. I can see into the future. We don't have a fair bit of money for that. Stanek then needs to back the pack up then and let the safety car go. The safety car really hasn't helped Stanek for a number of reasons. One, it reduced that gap at the start they had. They already had about 1.5 seconds out in front. Two, they need to pull away on those soft tyres because they are pitting much earlier. In doing so, they're going to have to do it all over again. Stanek is picking their moment to go, and I think that moment is now. And Stanek is already under pressure. Not the best restart because Melius is already on the back of them. Vapor is they're ready and waiting as well, but Melius is already. Are they alongside? Yes, they are. Melius takes the lead of this Grand Prix then. Melius was wide awake at the restart and able to make that pass. And look at Vapor as well. Vapor might be trying to go around the outside of turn 2, or turn 3 actually, but Stanek holds on to that second place for the time being. Victor under pressure from the Haas of Jav, already looking to recover some ground. Victor on the defensive for the time being. Synchro is right on the back of the top 4 as well. Meanwhile, Hartmann in 7th place, so Mercedes sandwich then between a Haas at the moment. Greenwell Army then in 8th place, Freefall in 9th, and then we've got Rusty Orkan rounding out the top 10. Marco is up to 11th place ahead of Fallen Monkeys. Then the 2 Alpines are in 13th and 14th respectively. But the problem for the likes of those at the back of the grid is that is Luck 14 going down the inside of, I believe that's, who is that? That's Whitson. That's a crucial move for Luck 14. They need to make passes early. I think also Wild Dog got ahead of Westy as well. That was a good move for them. Now then, can Stanek make a move there as Java's got ahead of Victor, and I think Victor is that Victor letting Hartmann through? I think they would. I don't know if they were trying to or not, but is that Hartmann? There's Greenwell Army under pressure from Greenwell Army. He goes off the track, and that's a Mercedes round. That's Hartmann. Hartmann drops to the back of the grid. Kind of was that the Red Bull of Greenwell Army came out of nowhere on that onboard screenshot. I thought it was the Mercedes trying to swap round, but in doing so, Greenwell Army was able to capitalise on it. But a spin for the Mercedes drops them down into plumb last at the moment. Not ideal for them as the time being. I think Marco just had a bit of a wobble on the exit there as well. Wonder if Fallen Monkeys can take advantage of it at the moment. There's Mike Oxong on the medium tyres. Right behind as well. Soft runners are starting to struggle a little bit, I think, on this exit. No DRS, of course, until the end of this lap. But Stanek is right on the back of Melios as I say that. But that's a better exit, I think, for Melios. That might keep them under pressure. Vapor having a quick glance as well, but nothing yet. Melios sets the fastest lap of this race. DRS now finally enabled after waiting along. There's Rusty Orkan on freefall. The works Ferrari is passed by the customer Ferrari. Orkan up into 8th place. Hello to Nathan. Lovely to see you again. Fallen Monkeys trying to pressurise Marco once again. Marco kind of stuck in 10th place at the moment. This is the danger of this this circuit. You can find yourself, well, basically stuck in this DRS train, which we'll soon have at the end of it once we get into turn 9. Meanwhile, Stanek continuing to hassle the back of Melios, and Melios will have to worry about the DRS that Stanek will now have. can see there the Alfa Romeo is getting closer. But no passes just yet. The better opportunity for the Alfa Romeo driver is off the exit of turn 16 and down the back straight. Someone has gone for a spin, and I think that's the McLaren of Fallen Monkeys. There they are, and they drop to the back of the field as well, and minus a front wing as well. Synchro sets the fastest lap, interesting enough. Here comes Stanek again, down the inside of Melios, and Melios didn't really put up a fight there, and Stanek reclaims the lead of this race. But how much longer can those soft tyres last for? And I think Melios, I thought they went wide there. Couldn't see from that camera angle. Meanwhile, Marco has moved into 9th place ahead of Freefall as well. Lap 14 has moved ahead of Westy as well. So one Aston Martin moving up the field. The other one is moving down at the moment. Westy will have Riordan next for company. Riordan, of course, has made their mandatory pit stop and probably will be going to the end of the race on those hard tyres. I think Freefall might be coming back though. Oh no, I thought they were coming back on Marco. Thought that was into turn 9, but it wasn't. They will have DRS to try and keep the two Alpines behind. There is Mike and Vexter. And Vexter, oh sorry, that's Mike having a move down the inside. And that's a clean pass. Oh, I was about to say that was a great pass until Mike Oxong had a spin. And all that good pass into turn 10 on Freefall kind of was all for nothing, really. I was about to say that was a phenomenal move. Meanwhile, Melios is making a phenomenal pass on Stanek. And once again, these two swap positions. And surely Stanek. How long can those tyres last? I mean, they've done 8 laps at the moment. Mike Oxong into the pits, presumably for a front wing change. But this works more in the favour of Melios, this sort of back and forth battle between these two. Stanek has got to pit soon, surely. And Stanek will lose time, especially if they get stuck behind some of the medium runners. Stanek having a much better exit out of turn 8 there. Will they make a pass on Melios? Lap 14, I think, has had a moment as well. They've dropped down the field into 17th place after decent recovery, actually. So, not quite sure what's happened to them. Top 4 are all in DRS of each other. There is the championship leader. It's hanging on the back of these 3. They're kind of stuck as well, as is Vapor. Vape will be hoping something happens between these two, where they can find an opportunity. Melios sets the fastest up of the race. Here comes Stanek again, DRS and ERS being used. Melios does think about moving to the inside, but second guesses it as Rusty Oil Can pits then for Alfa Romeo. Stanek didn't have the best exit there out of turn 2. They had a bit of a wobble. Rusty Oil Can makes their pit stop. On go the medium compound tyres, interestingly enough. Don't think those will go to the end. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. It's very easy for me to say what it could or couldn't be. That's Wild Dog having a look on the Alpine of Vexter. Both on equally old tyres, but I think Vexter is beginning to struggle on those soft tyres. Wild Dog is hassling them. Stanek still not able to make a pass on Melios into turn 10. We'll keep back an eye on them in a moment. I think Wild Dog might be lining the Alpine up for a pass here, but not down this corner, despite the fact they're getting closer. And I thought Wild Dog was going to send it up the inside, but Vexter gave the space anyways. But no opportunity there. Stanek now into the pits then to get rid of those soft tyres. Melios then will have now Vapor behind, as well as Synchro. Where will Stanek come out then? Medium tyres as well, so I'm going to take back what I said. I think the mediums will go to the end. Also pitting is Vexter as well. Riordan now moves up to 12th place. Presumably won't be making a stop again. So, how long will the medium runners go until the end of the race for? Vector then will rejoin the track down in 17th place. I think just ahead of their... Sorry, they are definitely ahead of their teammate. Song just coming out of turn 16. That's Stanek and Hartmann. Stanek now on the medium tyres. Hartmann yet to make a pit stop. And Stanek has gone right into the back of Hartmann. Lap 14 spun sort of in synchronicity. But Stanek broke so much later, as is the benefit of those fresher tyres, and that really has cost them. Did they get front wing damage or not? I'm not quite sure. Stanek on fresh mediums. Hartmann was on very worn soft tyres. They both meet in the middle, unfortunately. And that's a huge shame for Stanek. And speaking of which, that's Vapor, who's just crashed out. Vapor, who had a podium in hand with that, and a safety car for the second time then, comes out, and Vapor just pushed a little too hard and becomes the second driver to retire from this race. And some drivers are taking advantage of that. Hartmann into the pits then to get rid of those soft tyres, as is Lot 14 as well. So any who's on the soft tyres at the moment will probably get a cheap pit stop from that. Luck gets a front wing change as well. Huge shame for Vapor. Vapor running in third place for the majority of that race. Driving very nicely up until that moment. And Vapor over and out of this race. Now, question here is, what do likes of Melios and Synchro do? We've got a drive-through penalty for Hartmann for speeding under the safety car. Always one you've got to be careful of. Will they come into the pits? Melios is. Also Synchro as well. So this is a very awkward situation for them. They will likely have to go onto the hard compound tyres. They go on mediums. It's a two-stop strategy they'll have to do. They might need another safety car to get involved in that. Also coming in is Jav as well. So double stack for the Haas cars. That's medium tyres on Melios, so two-stop strategy for them. Hard tyres goes on to Synchro's car. Melios will have to make a second pit stop then. Hard tyres as well for Jav as well. Victor comes back out on soft tyres. Let's see a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A mixture of strategies. Greenwell's on hard tyres. Marco comes out on medium tyres, so cheap pit stop for them to get off those worn soft tyres. Wild Dog mediums as well. Free fall soft tyres, as is Westy. You presume they won't go to the end of the race after 20 laps. But Melios guaranteed to have to pit again. It went mediums at the start of the race. They've gone mediums again. So the key for the Belgian driver is they need to keep the lead and take advantage of their softer tyres in comparison to those behind, because when they pit once again, they will have to make their way through the grid. Synchro on the hard tyres definitely won't need to pit again. Riordan has actually really jumped the field as well by going on the hard tyres on the first safety car. They've really moved up the field. They're back in third place at the moment, so that's worked out very nicely for the Red Bull. Started third, moved up to second on the opening lap, then had an incident, dropped right to the back of the field on the first safety car, and now on this occasion they're back in third place. So Riordan's had quite a bit of a journey. The only problem though is Riordan's got much older tyres than those around them, so it's a question of how long, or can the Red Bull keep the remainder of the field behind, especially the likes of Victor. Victor on the soft compound tyre, so expect them to be a threat on the safety car restart. Hartmann is back into the pits, presumably to serve that 5-second penalty. But Victor surely will have to stop again, as will Freefall, Westy and Luck 14. Hard tyres go on to Hartmann's Mercedes as they make their way down the pit straight, a long way back, as is Fallen Monkeys as well. That's a golden safety car for Fallen Monkeys as well to catch back up to the field. Although I think Hartmann will rejoin ahead of them, as they will. Hartmann, remember though, has a drive-through penalty that they'll have to serve. They can't serve that under the safety car. So, once we get back under racing, they'll have free. Further down the road. So may need a third safety car. We did have 3 safety cars, I believe, in Austria, so Hartmann will hope that consistency continues into this round. Milios, on the other hand, the last thing they'd want is a third safety car. And what we're going to get instead is this safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Lap 14 has left the session. They'd ideally like to come back as quickly as possible. So Milios, once again, will have to lead the field away. Synchro will look to try and capitalise where they can. Synchro might be looking for back-to-back victories at this rate. Started in 4th place. Sorry, I think 5th place actually. Could be looking for a second win in a row. Back-to-back victories. Milios is leaving it very late. And has gone. Good restart there from Milios. We're back under racing. Synchro could be under pressure from Riordan. As already Stanek is making their way through. Has got ahead of Greenwell Army. There's a real tussle there down in front. And I think that's Stanek trying to go down the inside of the Mercedes of Victor and has been punished for it. What has happened there? Is that front wing damage? We can't say. But Stanek dropping down the field went for a late lunge, I think. And that does not work on this corner, unfortunately. But Milios having a great restart. Ahead of Synchro. Riordan holding on to that 3rd place. Ahead of Jav in 4th. Victor, after being under pressure from Stanek into turn 1, now need to recover their ground and challenge the Haas in front of them on the softer compound tyres. They're all holding position for the time being at the moment. That's Wild Dog and Rusty Orkan. They both go off to the track in sort of a Brazil 2021 style with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Wonder how Rusty Orkan will feel, because Vex has got ahead as well of Orkan as well. And, well, off the track goes Wild Dog, and Vexter goes straight back through. And Wild Dog into the pits then, so Rusty Orkan will gain that place back anyways. I wonder if Wild Dog's got front wing damage as a result of that contact. But Milios leads then by 1.6 seconds. Synchro in 2nd, under pressure from Riordan. Wild Dog's not impressed with Rusty Orkan, so didn't catch what the issue was with them. Free fall pressurising Rusty Orkan now. Rusty Orkan's got more important priorities to consider, including the cars behind them. The 2 McLarens, meanwhile, have swapped positions, and that's because, well, I thought they swapped positions, but they didn't. Synchro gets a 3-second time penalty. Lap 14, of course, is still AFK, if you like, or disconnected, whatever the cool kids want to call it. Riordan has been dropped by Synchro, despite that penalty. They all seem to have slightly calmed down at the moment. Victor not able to make much progress at the moment, but I'll hope to do so when we've got DRS. But that's a much better exit for Victor, though. This could be an opportunity here. They are deploying their ERS. Jeff isn't, and this is going to be a very clean pass here for Victor. And Victor, as easy as you like, moves ahead of the Haas driver and up into 4th place, which is exactly what they need to do, because Victor will surely be pitting once again, and they need to make up as much ground as they can before that pit stop. Greenwell Army in 6th ahead of Marco. Marco doing very nicely after starting last, up to 7th place at the moment. He's got Vexter behind them as well. Meanwhile, Freefall isn't able to make a pass on Rusty Oilcan just yet. Oilcan locks up into that corner. Very difficult to remember every corner net number. Oh, and Freefall catches that nicely. I say nicely, they're still off the track and lost places, but I tell you what, that could have been race ending, and very lucky there for the Ferrari driver, as Westy moves ahead of Rusty Orcan, and so is Whitson as well. Whitson moves ahead as well on fresher tyres, those two, and makes that pass stick then. Melio sets the fastest up of the race. That's a really good catch by Freefall though. Good save. Because the car could have gone 180 degrees. But really good car control then from Freefall, who I believe is still on the wheel as well. Still trying to familiarise themselves with it. Marco getting close to the back of Greenwell Army and Vexter as well. Whitson not able to make a pass on Westy just yet. I'll tell you what though, Freefall makes a pass on Luck 14. That one's a bit of a straightforward one as Freefall tries to make their way through the field once again. On board then with Victor. Stanek now takes the fastest up of the race, down in 18th place. They've got a lot of work to do as well. Both past cars have now got a 3-second time penalty, as you can see. Java's just got one as well. Victor not able to make a pass just yet. Java's, I think, just had a moment somewhere, because they've lost a few positions and now we've got a virtual safety car. What happened there? There's why. Off comes the front wing. And that's not ideal for them. Back to the pits they go. Freefall's got ahead of Mike Oxon. I think these two exchanging positions. Almost a gentleman's agreement. After you? No, after you. That's not ideal though for Melius once again. As into the pits comes the Haas of Jav for that front wing change as I mentioned. That's a shame for them because they were going to go to the end of the race on those hard tyres. Well, I think go the soft compound tyres. That could be nip and tuck of whether they go to the end of the race. Not much really to lose. Now they're down in 15th place. But Melios continues to lead. We're back under racing and DRS is enabled. And Melios makes their way down the road ahead of the field. 2.7 seconds clear of Synchro, who leads Riordan, who leads Victor. Can Victor make a pass? They're a bit too far back. Whitson is having a look at Westy here. You think Westy would have the advantage, given they're on the soft tyres. At the moment, it's holding that way, but those tyres won't last long. Westy is about 5 seconds back from Vexter in 7th place. And Westy will surely have to make another pit stop as well, for good measure. Now, Victor, that's a better exit, I think, for the Mercedes against the Red Bull. We've seen a Mercedes and a Red Bull fight here in Spain, but unlike that same fight, it's fairly straightforward. Victor gets ahead of Riordan and up into 3rd place. Riordan on 16-lap-old hard tyres now, and will surely be struggling. And I think Jav has just crashed as well, and we've got a 3rd safety car. The 3rd safety car of this race. There is the Haas car then. On the exit, I think of that is turn 11 or 12. And Wild Dog gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's not ideal. Now what does Melios do? Melios has got to make a pit stop again. This is not helping the Williams driver, because they have to make a pit stop. They're on a 2-stop for sure. Does Melios pick now to make a pit stop? There is a pretty decent gap actually that they could fit into. They'll of course be behind a number of cars, but the reduced delta. It won't be as under as many, that's for sure. Are they pitting? Yes, they are. In comes the Williams driver, as is Synchro as well. Synchro wants to get off those hard compound tyres. Victor as well, understandable on the soft tyres. Riordan pits as well, almost runs into the back of Victor. Greenwell Army stays out, so Greenwell Army takes the lead ahead of Marco. What tyre is that going to be on? That soft tyre's going on. Synchro on going to soft tyres as well. I think they're all switching to the soft compound tyres. In comes fresh soft tyres as well. Fallen Monkeys has stayed out. So they're picking track position. Melius has come out in 4th place. Not too bad. Hasn't got that many cars to pick their way through. Synchro in 5th as well. Victor in 7th. I think those on the soft tyres might have been very happy to see that safety car come out. Stanek will move up to 14th place. Freefall exits out in 15th ahead of Hartman. So it's now Greenwell Army then who leads. So for the third different race leader under a safety car. But we'll see. So how many laps we've got left? We've got 13 laps including this one. Soft tyres will definitely go to the end of the race, and that's an Alpine just magically disappearing and reappearing. I think that's Vexter. That's worrying signs for Melios. Melios, of course, who has to pass Vexter. Doesn't want to be seeing the glitchy Alpine. Melios then. Yeah, Melios is in a very good spot here. As is Synchro. Cars ahead are all on harder tyres. And all are a little bit more worn. So how easy will it be for Melios to make those passes? And more importantly as well, Melios is also going to watch out for Synchro behind as well. Synchro is also on the fresh soft tyres. So one little mistake by Melios, or one failed overtake, Synchro could be right on top of them at the moment. But Marco in 2nd place. That would be a good result if they could finish there after starting plumb last. Could have a last to first challenge for all we know for Marco. Freefall. Oh, Freefall's lost their front wing. Now, how has he done that under a safety car? Freefall will be straight back into the pits then. That's a huge shame for them. So they were hoping for better than Austria, and so far it's not ended up that way. Such a shame for them as well. The safety car comes in, that's going to be even more bad news for Freefall, but at the moment it's staying out. Unless, of course, the safety car has a very late call to come in, which we have seen on a number of occasions. It looks like at the moment it will be staying out for one more lap at least. Yeah, it's staying out then, so Freefall will be back into the pits surely, and we'll hope they can catch up to the back of the field after that. I don't think they'll be able to. Can barely turn through the corners, can the Ferrari. And I think they've just hit the wall as well. Oh dear. For the second time then, a driver has gone straight into the wall. And unlike Riordan, Freefall's session is over and done. And I can tell you, Freefall in Discord chat has done their own quote for their own Charles Leclerc styled quote. Insert the Azerbaijan radio. But Freefall joins their teammate out, so doubled Ferrari retirement. As that's Luck and Marco exchanging places. But bear in mind, Luck is not in the race at the moment. But it's up to second place. Should actually mention that. So Milius is actually down in 5th place. Bit weird. I didn't think Luck was there. For some reason, that's happened. Safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So if Luck is, we believe Luck is disconnected, then Greenwell should have a pretty decent restart here. Marco should surely get ahead of Luck quickly enough, but the big threats, of course, are the 2 soft runners behind them. Greenwell Army's got to let the safety car come into the pits before they can restart. Where will they go? They're not going just yet. But they're leaving it very late. Don't want to leave it there. There they are, but Marco has got a 5-second time penalty for contact with Vexter. We're back under racing then. Milius has already got ahead. I think actually Vexter has had a spin down in the final corner. There's 3 wide going in. Few cars ghosting through. That's Milius though in 4th place, and now make that 3rd, as well as Synchro, both getting ahead of Luck 14, although Synchro I think has gone off the track, and in doing so, but Synchro and Milius then moving up the positions quickly enough. We've got Greenwell leading the race from Marco, who's got a 5-second penalty, then comes Milius, then Synchro, Luck 14 in 5th, Victor in 6th, ahead of Riordan in 7th, Fallen Monkeys in 8th, Mike Oxley in 9th, Whitson in 10th. But Vexter, I think, dropping down the field. Contact between the pair of them. Don't know if they've misjudged the safety car restart, but you can see the grip that Milius has got through turn 9. Marco, I don't think, will be able to do anything to respond. Milius is going down the inside. Marco, fair to them, gives the space. Luck 14 loses up to Victor. Milius, though, holds on to that 3rd place. There is Synchro right behind them as well. Milius has got to make every overtake stick here, or overtake attempt, because one wrong error and Synchro will be right there to punish them, but that's a much better exit. Marco's slow off the exit. Milius runs to the back. I don't think there's contact, but that will certainly hurt Milius' momentum. Milius, though, unfazed by it, is going to go straight down the inside of Marco then into turn 1, and that's a very good overtake there. Marco, I think, realised that was always going to happen, and now Synchro will try their luck as well. Synchro trying to go down the inside of turn 3. They get very close to each other, but I think Synchro's got good racing between those two, and Synchro up into 3rd place. The soft runners making their mark at the moment. That was good racing between them there. Mike Oxon gets ahead of Luck 14, who we should remind her, Luck 14 has disconnected, so hence why they're dropping out of the field. Vexter into the pits, and I wonder if there will be any inquiry between Marco and Vexter after this race. Milius is now looking at Greenwell Army. This one should be a bit more straightforward, because Greenwell Army is on the hard compound tyres compared to Marco, who's on the medium tyres. But Synchro, once again, is still right behind him as well. Hartman has got ahead of Stanek as well for 13th place. I believe it's top 12 who score points. That could be someone, again, fact check me. Hartman's got ahead of Westgate. And now Milius is going to have a look here on Greenwell Army. Doesn't need the DRS, even though it has just been enabled. But Milius is going to go clean down the inside here of Greenwell Army. And that's an even more straightforward pass then. Milius very quickly retakes the lead of the race. There's Synchro trying to have a look as well. Going wide there goes Greenwell Army. And Synchro this time goes around the outside of turn 3. And Greenwell Army down to 3rd place at the moment. And now it's a straight fight between Milius and Synchro for the race win. Meanwhile, Marco has got Victor behind him as well, as is Riordan as well. Riordan could be looking for a good podium here with the cars ahead of them, if they can make the passes stick in these final 8 laps then. It'd be a great result for Riordan if they can get up to third place, I should say. Again, much better traction for Riordan, but that DRS won't help. Riordan's got to hold on for just the time being. Synchro is right on the back of Melios. They'll have, of course, DRS enabled. That will work in their favour. Melios, of course, won't be able to defend against that. Melios looking for a first win this season. Synchro's gone a little wide. But with DRS, can they make a pass here? Remember, Synchro's got that 3-second time penalty. DRS is enabled. Melios is trying everything they can to break it. You can see they're slightly weaving. Synchro's going to get close, but not able to make a move just yet. Marco's trying to have a look at Greenwell Army as well. No passes yet, and that's Riordan who's hit the wall. And that recovery to a podium is all been forgotten. Riordan's roller coaster of a race here in the Spanish Grand Prix ends just like that. No front wing, and a long way from home as well. Stanek into the pits as well, as Mike Oxong is dueling away with Fallen Monkeys there in 16th place. You can see Whitson trying to go down the inside as well into turn 8. And Fallen Monkeys holds the line for the time being, but Whitson still trying to fight this one. Had a little bit of a wheel bang there, and Whitson had to back out of it there. Good little duels that are happening. Synchro not able to make a pass on Melios just yet. There's Victor, who is a bit more relief pressure now that Riordan has had their spin. Won't need to worry about a quick Red Bull behind them. And I think Melios is starting to drop Synchro. Then Synchro, I don't think, had a great exit out of turn 16. And that's dropped them back out then. Here is Whitson. This is a fairly straightforward one. Whitson passes Fallen Monkeys. Fallen Monkeys on 15 lap hard tyres. Whitson on 6 lap old soft tyres. I think Whitson was always going to have that one as Riordan makes their way into the pits. That's such a shame for the Red Bull driver. And has retired from the race. That's such a good pace overall, but Riordan's one little error cost them today. Synchro is back into DRS range of Melios. I don't think we'll be making a pass there. Synchro again, all 4 wheels off the track. Be careful of warnings. Has got 1 3-second time penalty. Has only just cleared Greenwell Army out of that 3-second window. Marco as well has also got a penalty as well. That's that 5-second penalty for contact with Vexter on the restart. Not quite sure what happened, but we'll see later on. Synchro then with DRS, I don't think is going to make a pass here. Marco didn't have the best exit out of turn 16 when I watched. Victor's nowhere near close enough to make a pass. You can see Mike Oxong will have Whitson surely behind them. Close enough. That was a pass there. That's Marco on Greenwell Army, who finds a way through turn 1, breaks just about quick enough to make it into turn 1 ahead of Greenwell Army, and Marco then into the podium places. But remember, has got that 5-second time penalty that will be applied at the end of the race. And that will, at the moment, drop Marco down to, I think that will drop them down to about 7th or 8th place at the moment. Stanek, meanwhile, gets the fastest lap of the race. But sadly, not going to score a point for it, down in 14th place. Synchro able to brake much later into turn 10. Someone's had a bit of a lock up there. I think that might have been Marco. Victor lying and waiting, might be looking for a pass on Greenwell Army. The battle seems to have calmed down at the moment. Here we go again. Here's Synchro, close enough to make a pass. Melios once again. It's already keeping a hold of their lead at the front, trying to break the toe where they can. Nothing done so much yet. Marco keeps Greenwell Army behind them as well. That might be beneficial for Marco to keep Greenwell up. Well, actually, no, it's not, with that 5-second penalty. Won't matter. I was going to say Marco might be beneficial to keep Greenwell Army behind to eliminate the threat to Victor, but with that 5-second penalty, it won't matter. They'll drop behind anyway. Stanley gets another fastest lap of the race, so that's their little trophy for the moment. I must say Synchro looks a little closer to Milius on this occasion, but not able to follow through cleanly into turn 10. I think Hartman might be close enough to Rusty Orkan, although they've just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Hartman's getting a fair few penalties in this run, aren't they? Orkan's struggling for ERS, you see them harvesting, but no opportunity to take advantage just yet. Synchro then, I don't think is any closer. But thankfully for Synchro, despite that 3-second time penalty, someone's had a spin, and that I think is the Aston Martin of Westy, and they recover onto the track nicely enough. Synchro again gets close, but not close enough, as does Westy as well. But this is not playing into the hands of Synchro, who I assume, even at this point, even if they were to pass Melios, I don't think they can generate 3 seconds worth of lap time to keep the victory. So as long as Melios doesn't pick one up themselves, they should be all clean cut, and as long as there's no contact between these two, Synchro will still be very happy to hold on to this second place. At the moment will extend their lead in the championship. Marco, with that 5-second penalty, will drop down to just behind, I think, Mike Oxlong in 6th place. Synchro went a bit too deep on the exit of turn 14 and 15. That won't put them in a position to do so, or position to make a move, sorry. I think Greenwell Army might have had a decent exit out of turn 16 to keep them ahead of Victor. Victor's struggling to make a pass, unfortunately, on the Red Bull, despite being on the softer tyres. Wild Dog might be making a move through turn 15 and 16, although this one will be a fairly straightforward one, surely. Wild Dog into 12th place, and Luck 14, who has been on AI for the majority of the race, down in 13th now. We're on the penultimate lap at the moment. It's another 3 safety cars in this race. It's been a pretty tough one as it stands at the moment. I think Synchro will be extending their lead in the championship. Another good race, it must be said. Synchro looks very close though to the back of Melios. The question though is, can Synchro follow through into this chicane? I don't think they can. Wild Dog's got a penalty. I think this is the closest Synchro's actually looked here, so as we enter the final lap, can Synchro, this will probably more for style points, can Synchro make a pass here? The answer is no, just still too far back at the moment. But with that 3-second time penalty, it won't make a difference. Synchro will still hold on to that second place because they've got such a gap behind to Marco. As Hartman, I think, has made a pass then on Rusty Orkan finally, but that 3-second penalty will also cost them as well. They'll drop behind Rusty Orkan at this moment in time. Westy moves behind Wild Dog as well, but Melios is on course then for a victory, as someone has had a spin, and I think that's Wild Dog again. Wild Dog spins continue on. Synchro then had a little check on the left, but no way through, and won't find a way through now, I don't think. Melios then, who's had a very good restart, started on the front row, lost out at the start. 2-stop strategy paid off in the end, thanks to safety cars, but also good pace. Good overtaking from the Williams driver then. Melios then across turn 16, crosses the line and wins the Spanish Grand Prix from Synchro. Very good drive from the Williams driver. Vexter gets the fastest up at the end. Greenwell Army then up into third place and the podium places because of Marco's penalty. Victor in fourth. Marco dropped down to fifth place. Mike Oxong in sixth place, hanging on to those hard compound tyres. Whitson in seventh. Fallen Monkeys in eighth. Rossi Orkan in ninth. Hartman rounds out the top 10. Westy in 11th. Luck 14 in 12th. Stanek in 13th, despite starting on pole position after contact with the Mercedes. Shame for them. Wild Dog, who will come through the field with a front wing, minus a front wing, sorry, in 14th. Vexter will round out the finishers in 15th place, but good drive from Melios. Synchro will be pretty happy, actually, I think, with that second place. They came close, but in the end, not enough to make to take back-to-back wins. Good effort from Greenwell Army as well. They were on 20-lap-old hard tyres. Was able to hold off there. Hartman's just got a 20-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So Hartman's dropped out of the points. That promotes Westy into 10th place. Wilder's got a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. I think at this point it won't make a difference. That's a hefty penalty though for Hartman at the end. But great effort from Melios, from Synchro as well. Marco gets the driver of the day. From last to fifth, that's a good effort from them. A solid recovery. Very nice, polite bow there from Melios. As they take the winner's trophy. But another dramatic race then. Not many incidents, unlike Austria. A couple of errors here and there, and then fair few safety cars, and I think one virtual safety car. Overall, another solid race from the Division 3 drivers. So here's your final standings then. Melios winning the Spanish Grand Prix ahead of Synchro. Synchro makes it back-to-back podiums. Greenwell Army in third place, rounds out the podium finishes. Victor in fourth, Marco in fifth, Mike Oxong in sixth, Whitson in seventh, Fallen Monkeys in eighth place. Mike Oxong, we should mention as well, started 19th up to 6th as well, so equally as good a job as Marco. Fallen Monkeys in 8th, Rossi Orkan in 9th, Westy in 10th, Luck 14 in 16th. Stanek, as we mentioned, the pole sitter, huge shame for them, finishes in 12th place. Hartman in 13th, Wild Dog in 14th. Vexter got the fastest lap, but down in 15th place. Riordan, Freefall, Jev, Vapor and Druid are your retirees from the race. And, well, what a good race from them. Greenwell very happy with their P3. But a very good result from them. And a very happy few drivers. As that is it for round 2 at the moment. It should be, if my quick maths are any good, which they're probably not. It should still be Synchro who leads the championship. So good effort from them as we make our way to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix next week, of course in Imola. So we look forward to seeing you back here. As mentioned, well, I should mention as well, Division 2 has just started about half an hour ago. Definitely make sure you go and check them out. And Division 1, the big one, will start in about 35 minutes time. Incredibly close, the divisions, it must be said, between them. So definitely make sure you keep an eye on all those. But that's it for Division 3. We'll be back next Sunday. Thank you very much, guys, and take care. Bye-bye.